Hey everybody, welcome. This is Leslie. Welcome in, welcome in. We are going to do a unique subject today. I'm actually going to teach you guys quickly about how to poach an egg. We're going to talk about eggs. We're going to talk about egg packaging. We're going to talk about what all that means today. So thank you guys so much who are joining me here live on Facebook. Welcome, welcome. And welcome to all of you that are joining me live on Periscope. Hello, it's good to see everybody. Good afternoon. Hold on, I have to turn my light down. It's like blinding me. It's blinding me. Hold on. That's better. That's gonna be better. Yes, okay, much better. I get this glare in my camera and it's like, you're excited. I love it. I love it. So Splat is in the kitchen with me today, and the reason he's here is because I'm actually going to teach you guys, we're going to throw down how to poach an egg. I'm going to give you 3 different examples today that are going to give you some idea about how to poach an egg, and we're going to do that closer to the end of the broadcast. But before we do that, we're going to talk about eggs. We're going to talk about why you should be eating eggs. Thanks, Lexi. It's good to see you. Splat is here. Yes, awesome, awesome. So yes, so exciting. It's so exciting. So thank you guys so much. All of you here on Facebook, thank you so much for joining me. There are 2 ways that you can share out. On Periscope, you can share out with your followers here on Periscope. Actually, 3 ways on Periscope. Share out with your followers. You can share out with on Twitter, and you can share out on Facebook. On Facebook Live, actually right up here or right over here in the corner, you can follow me live there. Thank you guys so much on Periscope for sharing out. I appreciate it. And then you can also share out with your followers right here live so people can see that the live video is up and ready to go. Thank you, Janie, for sharing out in both places. Janie is the master of sharing. You can't poach an egg to save your life. Oh my gosh. I'm going to show you some secrets today. We're going to talk about having fresh eggs. When you have fresh eggs, how to poach those, how you have fresh eggs that maybe have been around a little bit longer, maybe in the refrigerator for a week or longer, how to poach those. And I'm also going to teach you a baggie method that is in plastic. I know it's not ideal, but I'm going to teach you how to do that as well, especially if you're making several poached eggs at one time. So I'm going to show you guys how to do that, and I will tell you that poached is my preferred way. If you were going to ask me what's the best way for me to eat an egg, a poached egg is one of the best ways that you could do, because you're preserving the nutrients in the yolk because you're not overheating it, and it doesn't require a lot of oil or grease or anything like that, and they taste amazing. So if you like easy eggs, you're definitely going to like poached eggs. Excuse me, just a second. I have to grab something while I step out of frame. Sorry about that. So we're going to do that, but first we're going to talk about eggs. So fried and bacon drippings. I know this is what my family has done for, ever. I'm from the South. We fry everything in bacon drippings. Not anymore though. I know. Poaching like a boss. That's right. That's awesome, Allie. So, I know, that's right. Now my non-Periscope people can participate as well, which is why I love Facebook Live as well. So thanks everybody for joining me. So let's talk about the egg. So I have 2 cartons of eggs here. We're going to talk about the differences in carton packaging as well. So let's talk about the egg. This has this beautiful little hard shell, right? The fresher the egg, the harder the shell typically is. The cleaner the egg, typically the harder the shell is. That's because the chicken is allowed to do what a chicken does and produces more of the nutrients to create the shell. And so the shell is typically a little bit harder. Also, the yolk you will find in a healthy egg is going to be very, very yellow. Thank you. That's very sweet. So put my name on that, right? The incredible edible egg. That's exactly right, Harlow. So in the 1960s, it started getting a bad rap for its fat content. And then in the 1980s, it got a bad rap because of salmonella poisoning. In the 1990s, it went to cholesterol. And now everybody's saying everybody should be eating eggs, right? The only person that should not be eating a lot of eggs is if you're a diabetic and you have heart trouble. So if you're diabetic and you have heart trouble, you can still eat eggs. You probably just shouldn't be doing it on a daily basis. So you're the sister. Hi, sister. I know. heaven. It was just a bad rap period altogether in the 90s, right? That was like the height of rap for me anyway. Yes, I like rap music, not hardcore. I like dance rap music. Okay, that's neither here nor there. Forget I said that. So, yes, there are some autoimmune disorders, but you actually, as you start healing that, eggs can come back into your diet. So, yes, so if you're diabetic if you're diabetic and you have heart trouble. So if you're diabetic and you have heart trouble, then you absolutely should not be eating eggs every single day. You can still eat eggs, but you shouldn't be eating them every single day, and you should think about eating them poached. So, yeah, got it? Okay, got it, good. All right, so think about this. Now, this is gonna freak some of you out. Some of you vegans are gonna be like, ew. But I just want to throw this out there. There are enough nutrients inside of this egg, inside of this beautiful shell. There are enough nutrients in here to create a life, which is a baby chicken. So there are, I know, right? There are enough nutrients in here to create a life. And so, as you can imagine, as you're putting those nutrients inside of your body, it is promoting life inside of your body as well. So, hello. I know, I bet you do. There are a lot of vegans that actually eat eggs. I know it's a total animal byproduct, but I do know vegans that are maybe not true vegans, but still have an egg now and again. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Hi, hey, Andrea, I tried to get on your broadcast earlier and my stupid thing was messed up. And so if you guys are not following the Dabbling Chef, please follow her. Vegans, that's right, they're vegans. Please follow the Dabbling Chef. She's amazing. She has amazing broadcast. If you like me, you're gonna love her. So please follow her there. Anyway, okay, so, yes. So, okay, there you go. Sorry, had to get rid of that. So, it's crazy town in here today. There's so many people, I can't keep up with the comments. So, all right, so here we go. So there are enough nutrients in here to produce a life. This is jam-packed with these vitamins. It is jam-packed: B12, B2, A, B5, and selenium. It's a great source of selenium. Selenium is actually difficult to get in a diet, and it's a great source of selenium. Most of us are selenium deficient, and so it's a great source of that, where you don't have to supplement if you're eating eggs on a regular basis. Almost every single vitamin and mineral required by the human body is in this little package. Crazy, right? Let me say that again. Almost every single mineral and vitamin that is required by the human body is in this little package. Crazy, crazy town. I know, it is crazy. I love that. Most of those nutrients are in the yolk. No yolk. I'm not yolking here. This is not a yolk. Most of the nutrients are in the yolk. The egg white is actually mostly protein. So a lot of times we get the, I know, I love eggs too. A lot of times I want to make sure my poaching water is not boiling. That is important. Most of the time we get a lot of those nutrients. When you're baking, they require that you just use the egg whites, and that's because there's a lot of protein in that, and that's really going to fluff things up. When you add the yolk to that, it's going to flatten things down a little bit. So a lot of times it's not because they're trying to avoid the cholesterol, because in most baking, let's be fair, we're not really worried about cholesterol, are we? So, but that's because they want you to use that fluffy protein. That's why when you whip egg whites, that they get this beautiful fluffiness to them. So yeah, egg whites are great, but you should be eating your egg yolks 80% of the time. You can just eat egg whites, that's totally fine, but I would recommend that you eat your yolk, the whole egg, not the shell, but eat the whole egg 80% of the time, okay? All right, so let's talk about the quickly. That's right, whip it good. Okay, sorry, went off on an 80s kick there. So let's talk about the cholesterol myth, because the latest myth about the egg is that it is going to raise your cholesterol. That is a total myth. There is no link. They cannot come up with a viable link to eggs and heart disease, which is one of the biggest things. They're saying, oh, it's going to raise your cholesterol and it's going to That's right. It is not going to raise your cholesterol. This dietary cholesterol is not going to raise your cholesterol. I know it's crazy. There's a lot of scientific research about that. Go out and Google it. This is what I always say to you guys. If you don't believe me, go Google it yourself. Google eggs and cholesterol and heart disease. And I will promise you, you will see that there is no... Instead of break a leg, break an egg. That's hilarious. I'm going to start saying that from now on. There is no link to that. So, and there is no viable link for sure. So some people may be trying to link it together, but there's no viable link in that. So just want you to know, your liver makes cholesterol every single day. Okay, all day long, your liver is making cholesterol, right? So an egg, your liver makes 5 to 6 times more cholesterol than this egg is ever going to put in your body. So just being crystal clear about that. Is there a lot of cholesterol in here? Yes, 200 milligrams for a regular medium-sized egg. Crazy town, right? Crazy town. Okay, so that's all I'm going to say about that. And by the way, it's not a trans fat or saturated fat, so it's not going to clog your arteries like you think about cholesterol. Cholesterol gets a bad rap anyway. At some point, we are just going to sit down and take a whole week and talk about cholesterol because it gets a bad rap in the body and your body needs it. And so we'll talk about that. It's great for your sex drive. It's great for all kinds of things. So anyway, yeah, so true, so true. It actually feeds the testosterone in your body, which makes, okay, anyway, let's not talk about that now. We'll talk about it another time. So, and then also eggs have been proven lately. There's actually a new study out that is showing a link between lots of egg consumption and help with the brain and preventing stroke. So strokes that are actually not in the cardiac area, but strokes that are occurring in the brain, that this is actually helping prevent that. And so amazing. There's some amazing research. It's not totally fortified yet, but they are showing great promise. They are showing great promise in the area of stroke prevention and in consuming eggs. In fact, there's a lot of talk about having a supplement that they make it in. If you don't like to eat eggs, that there would be a supplement available that would mimic what is inside of this little case. Why not just eat the egg? Let's just eat the eggs, right? Strokes run in my family too. My mother, my aunt, I've had several in my family. So yes, I'm always cautious about that. So yes, keeping everything moving slick through the body so I don't get any blood clots. So yes, so there's some promising research going on about that right now. So let's talk about packaging. So you're going to buy eggs, right? So now you're totally convinced. Leslie has totally convinced. Yeah, my mom had a stroke 8 years ago. Excuse me. Now you're totally convinced that, hey, Sandy, that it's time to eat some eggs, right? So let's talk about the packaging because this is really, really super important. This is so important for you to know this. There are different types of packaging. There is the traditional packaging, which is going to be like in the styrofoam carton, and they're going to be 99 cents for a dozen of eggs. Those eggs are off the board. You should not be buying these eggs. These are from sick hens. The hens that have these, there are so many terms. We're going to decode them right now. There are so many terms that, there are so many chickens crammed into one little tiny space that these hens are sick. And they are only alive for one purpose, and that is to produce eggs. And they only do it for like 6 months, and then they whack them, and these are sick animals. So what are they producing? They're producing a sick egg. When you eat that egg, sorry, I'm trying to get my poaching water just perfect here. When you eat that egg, it is making you sick as well. So 99 cents, those cheap carton of eggs that come in the styrofoam cartons or even sometimes in cartons like this, these paper cartons, are off the board. Do not buy them. Okay, they are not good for you. Just don't eat eggs. If you can't afford other kinds of eggs, just don't eat them because they are that bad. I will go as far as saying that, right, is that they are that bad. So the net level below that, or actually above that, let's say the level above that, is going to be cage-free. Cage-free chickens are going to be chickens that are not in those tiny little compartments that are the size of this piece of paper. Okay, those compartments are about 10 inches by about 12 inches tall, and that chicken lives in that cage its entire life and just produces eggs. It eats, poops, pees, has water, and lays eggs. And that's all it does. It never sees the light of day from being a chick until it's dead. And so, sorry, I'm getting a little activist here on you guys. So cage-free means that they're not in that little tiny cage, right? So that they're not in that, I'm moving fast, so I'm not reading comments, I'm sorry. So they're not in that little tiny cage, but it still means that they're in a row, like a row, and they are tethered a lot of times to their spot by their foot, and they're not allowed to roam, but they're considered cage-free, so they must be better for us, right? Wrong. They never see the light of day. These are sick hens. I would not recommend cage-free ever. The level above that is going to be free range, right? So free range eggs, I've spent a lot of time learning about eggs, as you can tell. So free range eggs are going to be eggs that are not in any cage whatsoever, so that they are no cage, they're not tethered, they're allowed to roam, but they're still in a large pen, and they are let outside for minimal times during the day, usually 1 to 2 hours in a day. They are allowed outside to see the light of day, and they just open the barn doors and they go into another small cage. There are thousands of hens in these little tiny areas, but they roost. They do have a place to roost, so they actually have a nest that they can go to and roost and actually lay their eggs, but they're still really crowded. So it is like chicken jail. Sorry, the one comment I see just cracks me up. So that's right. So that is a leveled up. What I'd really like for you to purchase if you're eating eggs, free range is okay, especially if you're getting organic free range eggs. Those would be okay. I would actually probably settle for those myself. But really what I want you to look for is I want you to look, you are what you eat, absolutely. I want you to look for pasture eggs. Pasture eggs are going to say it big and loud and proud on the carton. Pasture eggs. These happen to be pasture organic eggs. These are made by a company called Vital Farms. These are the big difference in pasture hens. We're going to talk about that in just a second. These are not cheap eggs. These eggs are about $6 a carton. So they're expensive. That's still only 50 cents an egg, still way cheaper than a lot of food products, especially meat products out there. It's still way, way cheaper, and you're getting a big bang for the buck. You're getting huge nutrients for the dollar that you're spending on these. So pasture means, just like on the carton here, pasture means that these hens are allowed to do what chickens would do naturally, which is be in a large area, be in a large pasture area, and at night they are actually transferred, or they actually naturally go to a barn and they roost just like chickens would do, and in the mornings typically they'll lay their eggs, or sometime during that period they will actually lay their eggs in their roost, and then those eggs are gathered. That's what a pastured hen is. A pastured hen eats bugs, it eats grasses, it eats worms, it eats other things that I probably don't want to talk to you about, but it is allowed for it to forage on its own and eat something that a chicken would normally eat. These eggs are superior. The only level above that is if you don't buy them in the grocery store, if you can get them locally, if you can get pastured eggs locally, like in your city. Like here, I do Red Hen Farms. When I buy them locally, Red Hen Farms is who I buy from. I am actually going to go visit them in April. I'm super excited. We're going to do a whole egg week in April. I'm going to go visit them. We're going to see baby chicks, and we're going to periscope the whole thing. It's going to be amazing. But that is actually the superior of the superior, because you can see the chickens. You know that they're healthy. They don't go through a lot of processing, so a lot of cleanings or anything like that. They just go right into the carton, right out of the hen house, right into the carton. In fact, those kinds of eggs, you actually don't even have to refrigerate. The only time you have to refrigerate an egg is after it's had its protective coating actually washed off of it. So in Europe,